Namaste, welcome, and thank you for your yoga practice today. So we're going to get a little bit twisty today in this 30-minute vinyasa flow. We're focusing on twists of the spine and also some just general kind of topsy-turvy motions on our yoga mat. I get really inspired by music when I create my flows, and so for this I was really thinking of the Beatles' classic Twist and Shout. So there's a lot of really fun and active energy in that song, and likewise I would like us to find a bit of playfulness in this practice. And as we're moving through maybe some motions that aren't as familiar to you or aren't as regular in your practice, I would like us to keep a sense of openness around it and a sense of inviting in this newness as a way to really ground us in the present moment. So you don't need any props for this practice today, just your yoga mat and your body. And we'll get started in a child's pose, please. So as you're ready, take your knees out wide and begin to draw your hips back onto the heels with your arms extended out long. Forehead can rest down on the mat. Maybe giving yourself a moment here in the beginning before we jump right into stillness, and let yourself sway softly side to side. Taking a few deep breaths. Sort of rocking into the hips, rocking into the shoulders a little bit. And just give yourself some motion. And finally, when you're ready, lowering all the way down, forehead touches the mat, and you can find some stillness in the hips and the shoulders. Let's close the eyes and begin to drop into the breath. Just take a few deep inhales and exhales and notice where your breath is showing up for you today. Giving yourself this time to arrive fully on the mat. Beginning to create a little bit of space in between everything else in your day. What's already happened and what's yet to come. For this moment, you are right here. You are right now. Let's inhale, tent the fingertips, lift the elbows, lift the forehead up off the mat, gaze forward towards your fingertips. As you exhale, walk your hands off the mat over to the left. Lower back down onto the palms, the elbows, and the forehead, side body stretch. Take a few breaths. Let it all go. Inhale, lift your fingertips, elbows, chest, come back through center, and over to the right. Lowering down onto the palms, you can even place that left palm on top of your right if you'd like to further extend through the left side body. Imagining you could send your breath in between your rib cage. Good, let's inhale, lift the finger pads, walk back to center. One last exhale, child's pose. Good. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the hips. We'll come to tabletop pose. Palms under shoulders, knees under hips, cat and cows. You know where we're going. Let's inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, smile the chest forward. Exhale, press into the palms, round the spine. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, heart reaches back and up. Good. Let's add some side to side motion here as well. So keep flowing with your breath, finding whatever motions feel best to you here, but maybe try extending the rib cage in one direction and then the other. You can even begin to draw full circles with the rib cage, almost like a cement mixer. Sort of rolling it around, down towards the floor, to the left, up towards the sky. Good. Shake it all out. 2 more breaths. Shake out the neck, release the lips. Good. Let's come back to center, tabletop pose. Wonderful. Let's extend the left toes back behind you. Press back through the heel. Keep the thigh strong as the toes stay on the mat for now. Really engage the low belly, so lift the belly button up towards the spine. Lengthen the back of your neck. Look down in between your thumbs. Inhale, lift the left toes up off the mat. Square the hips down towards the floor. And then let the right arm extend forward. Spinal balance pose. Strength through the core, strength through your arm and your leg. Breathe. Good. Release the right palm back down towards the mat. Keep the left leg lifted. Let's bend the left knee, reach your heel up towards the ceiling. You can stay here and just work on lifting the heel, getting that little arch in the back, maybe gazing forward or down towards the mat. If you feel comfortable here, bring the weight back into the left palm, take your right hand, reach back behind you, grab for the top of your foot. Maybe kicking into the hand as you lift the chest, lift the hips. 1 more breath wherever you are. Good, release, come back out, spinal balance wherever you are. So right arm, left leg is lifted, deep inhale. Good, right hand comes down, left leg is still lifted. Now we're gonna take that right foot and kick it over to the right edge of your mat. Your knee comes to face towards the left. You're gonna stack the hips, stack your shoulders and lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Yeah, for a plank pose. Good, breathe here. Good. We're going to drop the left foot back down behind you, lift up, bent knee warrior 2 as your arms extend out to the side. Let's lift the palms open towards the sky. Take the left hand back down the back leg, reach the right hand up and over behind you, peaceful warrior. Good, take a breath here. And come back up, warrior 2 with the bent knee. Windmill the hands down to find the floor. Bring the right foot back behind you. You can lift the left toes up off the mat 1 final time. And exhale, come back down, tabletop pose. Let's inhale, cow pose, belly drops, heart lifts. Exhale, cat. Perfect. Come back to neutral and we'll take the same flow on the second side. So as you're ready, tuck the right toes back behind you, press out through the heel. Feel the hamstrings start to get a nice little stretch as you lift up through the quadriceps. Engage your low belly. Relax the back of your neck. Inhale, lift the toes. Left arm extends forward, spinal balance. Good. Feel yourself lengthen out equally in both directions here. Good, let's release the left hand down. Bend the knee, right heel reaches up towards the sky, kick up into the heel, find that arch in your back. But can you keep the hips square a bit here? Right, so we don't want to open up and stack our hips quite yet. Keep that heel lifted. Again, you have the choice to find the bind. Weight into the right hand. If you're going there, lift the left hand up off the mat, reach back, find the top of your foot. You can kick into your hand if you want, broaden across the chest, lift the knee away from the floor. Breathe. Good, release back, spinal balance. Reach out through the heel, out through the fingertips. You got it, one more breath. Left hand lowers down. So now bring the left toes over to the side of the mat. Knee points towards the right. Begin to bring the weight into the left hand. Stack your hips, stack your shoulders. Find your side plank. Flex the back foot. Fingertips reach up towards the sky. Breathe. Good. We're going to come back onto that right foot. So right foot finds the mat as you lift the left hand up, warrior two. Good. Palms open towards the sky. Breathe in. Take it back. Peaceful warrior. Exhale. Good. Take a breath. Let's inhale, come back, warrior two. Lengthen through your arms and exhale, windmill back down to the floor. Left toes come back behind you. Let's lift those right toes up off the mat one more time. Strength through your legs and lower down, tabletop pose. Good. Reach the hands towards the top of your mat. Tuck your toes. Let's come back, downward facing dog, please. Lift the knees and lift the hips. Good. Release through the back of the neck, shake it out, start pedaling into the knees, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room here. Beautiful, one more breath. Good. Let's inhale, lift the right leg up high in the sky, three-limb dog, reach out through your toes. Keep the weight even in your palms, and exhale, bend your knees, stack your hips, reach your toes towards the left. Inhale, come back, three-limb dog. Bend the knees, step forward, lunge pose. Right foot to right thumb, keep the back knee lifted. Press into the left palm as you inhale, right hand reaches up towards the sky. Good. Take a big breath here. Good. Let's bring the right hand back down to the mat. Frame that front foot. Release onto the back knee and untuck your toes. Let's lift up in the chest. Come onto finger pads. And then as you're ready, take your right hand on your right knee. You're going to gently press the right knee away from you as you sink down into your hips, almost like a pigeon prep pose. As your hips sink down, your heart can reach up. Good. Breathe. One more. Good. Inhale, guide the right knee back over the ankle. Both hands frame your front foot once again. Tuck your back toes. Inhale, lift the left knee. And then we're going to walk ourselves over to the left edge of the mat, setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana. So turn your toes in and your heels out just a bit. Take an inhale to lengthen up through the spine. Reach out through the crown of your head. And exhale, fold in. Good. Maybe swaying the torso side to side a bit here if that feels good. Get a little bit of motion in the body. Find your breath. Good. Let's halfway lift, press into the fingertips, lift the chest parallel towards the floor, and then cross the hands in front of you. So take your left hand over to the right, right hand over to the left, come up onto finger pads. Press away from the floor and extend into the back of your shoulders. Good. Bend your knees a bit. Curl the fingertips further away from each other if you have the space. You can release into the back of the neck. Maybe you'd even like to try lifting up onto the toes in this pose. It is a bit of a challenge. You can try it. Remember, we're here to play and have fun. If you don't want to do it, that's also fine. Just release into the back of the neck, sink low into the hips. Take one more breath. Good. Let's begin to lift the chest. Release the hands back to center. Inhale, halfway lift, straighten the legs. Good. Point your right toes forward and walk yourself back to the front of your mat. Find your lunge pose. Let's step back, plank, big inhale. And exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Let's find baby cobra pose. Inhale, press the chest away from the mat, elbows in, shoulders on the back. And exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe. Beautiful. Left leg lifts. Inhale. Bend the knees, stack the hips. Exhale. Straighten back out. 3-limb dog. Big breath in. And exhale, step forward, lunge pose. Back leg stays lifted, press down into the right palm. Inhale, left hand reaches up towards the sky. Good, breathe. Left hand comes down. Right knee comes down, untuck the toes. Left hand onto left knee as you exhale, press the knee away from you, rolling onto the pinky side edge of your foot and sinking down into your hips, open the heart. Breath. Good, inhale, left knee comes back up. Left hand comes back down. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. We're gonna walk over to the right side this time. Prasarita Padottanasana again. So extend into the legs, hands underneath you. Inhale, lift up through the chest halfway. And exhale, fold. Good. Again, take a breath or two here. Maybe swaying a bit side to side if you'd like. Let's lift up onto finger pads and again cross the hands. See if you can cross them the opposite way. If you remember which arm was in front last time, just reverse. Come up onto finger pads and start to bend the knees, sit low into the hips. Call the finger pads maybe a bit further away from you. Palms lift up off the mat and relax into the back of your neck. Again, maybe try turning your toes out, heels in, and lifting up onto your toes. Breathe. And exhale, lower back down onto the heels. Begin to straighten the legs, unwind, lift the chest, come back, halfway lift. Unraveling through the arms. Exhale, fold one last time. Good. Halfway lift and walk yourself forward, coming back to lunge pose. Frame the front foot with your hands. Step back, plank. And exhale, take it down. Cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, come back down, dog. Good. Big breath in. And let it go. Good. Let's lower down onto the knees, untuck your toes. Come back, tabletop pose. And let's take a thread the needle. So taking the right arm, thread it underneath the left, crawling fingertips to the right. And as you're ready, lower the right shoulder and the right cheek onto the mat. You can keep the left hand where it is, or maybe reach around and back behind you for the right hip crease. Further opening the chest up to the left, whatever feels good for you. But wherever you are, just go ahead and close the eyes. We're going to take 5 deep breaths here. beginning to settle down in the breath and in the body. And gently unravel, bring the left hand back down to the floor if you are bound. Press into the left hand and inhale, lift. Take the right hand all the way up towards the sky. Extend the left leg behind you and open twist. Good, exhale, come back down, tabletop. Let's take the left arm underneath the right this time, crawling fingertips over to the right and settle down onto the left shoulder and left cheek as you're ready. If you found your bind on the first side, please do so here as well, maybe reaching around for the left thigh or left hip crease. Feeling that compression across the back of your shoulders. Maybe that twisting sensation in your spine. Just allow it to really compress and release any tension or any tightness, anything that's stuck, maybe needs to be cleared away. Good, release if you are bound. Right hand comes back down to the floor. Press down into your hand and inhale, lift the left arm up towards the sky. Extend the right leg back behind you. Big breath in. And exhale, come back down, tabletop pose. Good. Let's come back to sit on the knees, or the heels rather. And then let's bring the legs out in front of you. I'm going to take a fire log or double pigeon pose, but if that's too much for your hips, you can also just take Sukhasana or easy seat. We'll start with the right leg on the bottom, so either your right leg is in closest to the groin and the left leg is just rested in front of it and you're seated here in your Sukhasana, or squaring the right shin forward on the bottom leg, flexing through the feet, and then guiding the left leg on top of the right, so seeing if you can stack your ankles and your knees. This is a pretty intense and pretty advanced pose, so if you have a block or a pillow or something you would like to wedge in between your knees and your ankles, then that is a great modification for yourself. Just take a moment here and settle into the hips wherever you are. And then if you choose, let's begin to walk forward. Extending the fingertips, maybe folding over the shins. Release through the back of the neck. Close your eyes. Come back to your breath. Good, inhale, press into the fingers, begin to lift the chest and walk the shoulders back over the hips. You can gently lean back, extend both legs out long, give them a quick shake. Good, and come into the second side, whatever pose you're taking. If Sukhasana, then just bring the left foot in closest to the groin. Right leg sits in front. Or for a double pigeon, bring the left shin squared forward, flexing through the foot, and bring right ankle on top of left knee. Take a moment to sit up tall and strong wherever you are. Relax and loosen the shoulders, close the eyes. Good. If you'd like, you can begin to fold forward over the shins, walking the hands towards the top of your mat. And let's inhale, come up. Gently guide the shoulders back over the hips. And as you lean back into your hands, release the legs. Give them a final good shake. Getting all that final lingering energy out of the body. Maybe take some ankle circles. You can point and flex your toes. Give them a good crackle. And then as you're ready, take the ankles out wide across the mat and lower yourself all the way down for Savasana. Letting the hands release down by your sides, palms open to the sky. Allowing the body to unravel and just settle here. We're taught that in our asana practice, twists are really great for cleansing and clearing the body. So now we have all of this space that we've created. Hopefully you feel a bit lighter, maybe a bit more joyous. And now here you have permission to just rest. And begin to deepen into your breath. Bringing some motion softly back into the body, little by little. Eventually, as you feel ready, you may draw one knee in towards the chest and then the other. Rolling softly over to one side and meeting back in your comfortable seated pose. We'll keep the eyes closed for just a moment. We'll meet together with hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Let your thumbs press against your heart center. I thank you so much for your practice and to honor this playful and joyous spirit that we have. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I wish you peace and love. Thank you for your practice.